Alright, so today I'm gonna join these two pieces. Obviously, these pieces weren't meant to be joined. This is the chest unit from a Barbatos kit, a high grade, and then this is from the high grade Banshee Lorne. This chest piece is from the high grade Banshee Lorne, or the chest armor. So I'm thinking the best way to do this is gonna be to put some putty right here and glue right there and hope it works, which it should. I don't see why it wouldn't. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try that out. Probably put some of the putty first. This putty can get really dirty, so just keep that in mind. It also smells horrible, so you should be using a respirator. This stuff is bad for you to be inhaling. So you add the putty with the glue. I mean, I don't really think you should really be inhaling this stuff. So make sure you do wear appropriate PPE, whatever sort of face mask you can. If I did this right, and that doesn't look too bad. Remember, you are kit bashing. You're putting together these kits that aren't necessarily meant to be put together, right? So you just have to be mindful of that and careful of how you approach that. Let that sit like that for a little bit. I was originally going to try pinning it with some of these. I found that the 1-inch sort of fit. It's that little chest pocket where the original chest armor was attaching, but I figured that the 1.5 would have actually fit better. Unfortunately, I do not have the 1.5. That's the only one that I didn't order for whatever reason. So kind of stuck with this, but this will hold too. I mean, after it finishes drying, it'll work out just fine. Check out some of these pieces though. Another really cool thing that I did was on these shoulder armors and a couple of other parts too, not just the shoulder armors, a lot of other little parts. What I did is I went in with some Vallejo gold and my paintbrush. Right, the gold. And with my paintbrush, my little aluminum handled display, fine tip. And I just painted it right over. I mean, you can see there's still, you can see there's just a slight tinge of gold on the blue. What I did is I just painted over it, let the paint seep in there, and then I wiped it off with my finger. And it came off really nice, especially on these glossier pieces. So it just adds a nice little contrast to what you would have panel lined, right? Normally you would have panel lined it or whatever, but for this one I decided I wanted to put some paint. So you can see right there, I missed a spot right there too, but that's an easy fix. Another item you could use instead are these markers. All right, these are pretty solid. Pilot, you can pick these up at a Hobby Lobby. Shake them. They're a nice gold, chromish color. I think this gold pen though is a little too big. Yeah, just slightly too big, but it still works out. Some nice little tips. I actually used the silver one to paint that silver on there, and it gives it a nice shine. I did also use like a little metallic green paint to fill it in right there. If I recall, the original is I remember if it's like an orange, like fluorescent orange sort of color. I also went back yesterday, and some of these black pieces, I sprayed a little bit of that clear blue. And since I had painted it with gold, it kind of gave it a nice little green tinge. So if you spray blue over yellow, right, blue over gold, you're going to get green. So that's really cool. Another really cool thing I did was, let me see, where's the cap? It is. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. See how it's blue? Looks like there's a galaxy up in there, right? That's cool. So that's the metallic black that I mix up with some clear blue over it. Really cool. So another thing that I found is, because I'm going with that kind of like a boxer. I don't know what I'm going, to be honest, but I'm going to put it all together. I had these leftover hands from the aerial dominator. So no, it's the wrong one. So I just gave them another paint job. I had painted them like a copper. I had originally painted them a copper color. These are extra hands that I had. So since they're from the aerial dominator, right? They're slightly bigger. It's a bigger size. So that'll make it look a little bit more like boxing hands, I guess, or like boxing gloves, something along those lines, which is what I was wanting to do with this in the first place, kind of make it like a boxer for my original concept. It kind of looked like a boxer just because it was a really, really thin frame. I do also have a couple of packages that arrived today that I'll probably post in this video too. I was very excited to get a couple of these. One of the cool things about being an adult is you have access to adult money, right? We all have to work for a living for the most part. So one of the cool things is that I get to buy some things that I've really been wanting to try out. That doesn't look right. That does not look right either. There we go. That finally popped in. Took a little bit of effort again. It's because that aerial dominator, the clearances were so tight, really tight clearances, that it was a really bad idea to paint it. Struggled so much when I was building the original kit because of the paint. Oh, check this part out too. Painted it black, and then I went over it with that blue again, the clear blue. It was originally green. You can still kind of see a little bit of the green. But on there, hopefully. So these are obviously quite a bit bigger than the original hands, right? But these actually do still fit in the arm unit, just like so. And because they're bigger and the frame's a little bit smaller, I think it's gonna look pretty cool. It's gonna actually look like if it was some sort of boxing glove or something. So that's pretty cool. I also did find, I had some extra from one of my Barbatoses. Had some extra arm armor. So I'll go ahead and be putting this on the arm too. Probably gonna have to go back and paint this a little bit more detail into these, but not a big deal. I also have yet to top coat these pieces, but should be fine. Actually, no, I'm missing. Pop that in right there. Pop that right there. And this mount keeps moving on me. Just like that. We're in business. I don't know if I'm gonna leave that there. Well, I guess I might as well. This is the right arm. This is the shield from the police Zaku, from the G-Quux. Right? So all I did is I just drilled the little 2.5, 3 millimeter hole right there, so that way I could attach this to it. Probably gonna go back with some more something to maybe help pop that and break it out a little bit more. For now, I'll do the same thing for this arm. Have to slip this piece over first, just like that. Put this piece on this way. And this is gonna go this way. See what I can attach onto the rear right here. haven't decided what would go good there yet, but I'm sure I'll think of something. That's the fun of this. You just sort of get to create and see what would happen. What ifs, right? It's always pretty cool. All right. Left arm. Let's put. So for this one, I drilled a 3mm hole around the back of the shoulder armor. Right? And so what I'm going to do with that is, well, let's pop the hands on real quick so you guys can see. Kind of, see, I don't know, to me that kind of looks like boxing gloves or comically big hands for this frame, right? So I think that that'll actually be really cool, and it should give it a little bit more life, in my opinion. All right, let me build the shield, to put the shield together real quickly. This piece, and this is a shield from the entry grade Strike. So if I remember this correctly, pop that on there. Popping that over. I don't know how I feel about having the two-tone blue right there. I guess three-tone at this point, right? With this piece. Three-tone blue, but actually that doesn't look too bad. I don't know, maybe I should have kept it silver. Kept the border silver. Too much blue going on. I messed up on the shield too the first time around because I used a primer that's meant for the Krylon primer. Right? It wasn't meant for this, so it left it really thick. And then I sprayed some Hobby Lobby, some of their new paint over it as well, just like that, and it sprayed it really thick as well. But anyway, that's how that attaches there. It's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and build the head unit real quick. So for the head unit, I used, well, for the eye, I used this Turbo Dork Fahrenheit. Makes it pop out real nice. Let me see if I remember how to build this piece. Yeah, it looks about right. Missing a small piece for this too. There it is. So unfortunately, I didn't bring my part separator out here. But, oh, I forgot I had this one. Let's see if I can finagle this. This is that part separator that comes with the mega size Gundam model kits. It's just so that way you can get the pieces off the sprues. Maybe it'll finagle it in here a little bit, and there we go. There we go, it's better. Grab the lip unit, or the mouth unit. It's pretty good to me. See, this is the original size of the hands. From the Barbatos kit. Alright, so look at the huge difference, right? 1/144 and a smaller 1/144 at that. To these ginormous hands. That does look like if it would be boxing gloves. I think it's pretty funny. Should make for some good laughs. Let's finish the face unit, or the head helmet. Just like that, titanium gold. There we go. I painted this because it was just I want to say it might have been like from a beam saber. I still didn't put enough on it. Oh, I know how to fix that. The head will no longer move, but it'll actually stay on there instead of falling off. But yeah, it was like a piece of a beam saber or something or other. So gonna reactivate the damn paint with this too. I learned that the hard way. That's why this thing is tinted blue. I built one of the original Zaku ones, right, from like the 80s and 90s. One of those kits that you had to actually glue together. And I didn't know that, well, I guess I should have known that plastic cement would eat away at the paint, right? So as I was using it, it was eating away at the paint and tinting it. Come on. That ought to hold. Okay, I'll let that dry for a little bit. All right, I'll let that dry for a little bit. Should be good. Let's go ahead and grab the back piece. I'll touch that. And this was modified as well. This is actually the rear skirt armor for this kit. Not bad. Now I gotta do the waist. But with the waist, I need to glue a piece of it together too. So first, let me go ahead and do this. Doesn't feel right. There it is. Touch that polycap. Touch this polycap. And this piece, this rear piece, was from the Strike as well. The entry-grade Strike donated quite a bit of its parts to this. It says build. That's why it wasn't feeling right. I was putting it upside down. It happens. Okay. Put this on. Put this on. Now I'm going to grab this piece. And if you guys do not remember, this piece was from one of the legs, which I don't even remember where I put. It was from one of the legs from the Barbatorus. It was like the rear panel. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to glue it onto here. Just like that. Just to cover up the... Just to cover up these pegs a little bit. Again, I'm reactivating this paint, but should be fine. Hold that there for a second. Could have used super glue. It probably would have been a smarter idea if I used super glue, to be honest, to hold this. But it's a little late now, and I don't have any super glue. Maybe I should have put some putty on there. Oh, there we go. That's holding. I'll let that hold for a bit too. While that's drying. Oh, I guess I don't have to do that. While that's drying, I'll go ahead and start building out probably the feet. If I remember how to build them. I think I got all the appropriate pieces for this. Hope. That's the bad thing. Sometimes these pieces get moved around. All right. Sure, this one here. Remember that part. So I'll do that over on this side too. This is the heel. The heel. Well, I guess it would help if I was actually showing you guys, right? polycap back in here. And I can attach this piece there. Just like that. And I can attach this piece. And then this piece. And after that, this cover should be able to slip on. Oop. Well, there goes some battle damage since I did not top coat this yet. That's fine. That's the fun of this too, right? Just building to see what you can build. Probably should have put this piece on before I put that other piece. I think that's where I messed up. I hope this one doesn't break on me again. I had to glue this one. And it did break on me again. Oh, it is what it is. Can't cry over spilt milk, right? Oh no, I guess I was right. Putting it the other way first. Still always finagle things back in, one way or another. My purpose for doing these things is just to see what I can and can't do, what I need more practice on. So at least now I know I need a little bit more practice on joining parts together. And I can't always glue it back right now that it's back where it should be. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, it's good because it shows you guys that not everything always goes according to plan. It's not a bad thing. You just make do with what you have and keep going. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this. We've got like 3 different types of these alligator clips. I store them all in different places because they're different sizes. So all right. Let's try and retro build this. No, this is the rear piece. But where do you go? Make sure we put the poly caps back in. Don't want to do all this work and then have to try and redo it. Might be easier if I do this back piece first. So this little peg broke on me too when I was disassembling it. So I'll put a little bit of that on there. Hopefully. Ooh. Yeah, this way. We're getting there. Nope. There we go. Nope. Upside down again. Put that on there. This is going to be the front piece. Put the poly cap in. Nice little pop. I'm wondering if I put the other one upside down. See, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Oh no, it does make a difference. Okay, so I guess I did not put the other one upside down. You have a leg. Here we have another leg. Two legs. Almost matching scars on them too. Guess it did a little contrast between colors. Maybe I should have painted this piece a different color as well, but I don't know. So I don't know if you can see it, but I guess you can't. I had drilled holes through those poly caps so that way that actually pops in there, just like that. Same on this side, just like that. Oh, well, I want that piece. I guess maybe I'm gonna have to glue it higher up. I'll leave it without. I don't know yet. Now the stance is a whole lot wider than what it normally should be, but it should still be fine. Not a big deal. This is gonna be comical. I love it. This is the finished product, more or less. I still have to find a better way to attach this piece. But I think the hands make it look hilarious. He's got this really tiny build and these big ass hands. I might remove this piece though. It looks like it's interfering with the bend. There we go. Way better. I know that normally it's supposed to go backwards, but because this was meant to be like the Barbatorus build, they were different. But there we go. Now little homie can put up his dukes. I'm gonna turn these off to the rear like this. I'm gonna have to re-glue some of these parts. But I mean, that's all part of the process. Surprisingly, the back part actually stayed pretty well. He's oversized, or undersized, I guess. It would look better if I did it this way. That might actually look better. Nobody cares about that anyways. See if I can get this to work. You might not want to just because I reactivated the paint again, right? So it might not want to work at first. Is it that, or is it that it's just... No, yeah, there we go. Come on. Glue and stay. Glue and stay. You wanted to earlier. There we go. That was a sweet spot. See if I can get a little bit more right there on those edges where it won't be noticeable. Well, there we have it. Boxer Zaku with fucking with the backpack. Look at that. Why are you leaning so much, buddy? There we go. I think that's pretty funny. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.